Hello, everyone, and welcome to Authentic Voices. So, this is a space where we hold real and unfiltered conversations, celebrating everyday stories that have largely gone untold, stories that inspire us, empower us, and connect us as a community. And I'm your host, Noma, and today we are talking about a subject that affects all of us, and it's health and fitness. I'm joined by someone whose personal passion has become a community movement. His name is Tonderayi Moloten. He's a banker by profession and a fitness enthusiast, and one of the pioneers of a growing fitness club in Norton, Zimbabwe. The fitness club is called Norton Running Club. Tonderayi, welcome to Authentic Voices.
Oh, thank you, Noma. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
We're so excited to have you today. And your story is such a great reminder that you don't need fancy gyms or a personal fitness trainer to make a difference in someone's health life. And also just it notes the importance of passion and consistency and just having a heart. So that's very important. And I can't wait to delve more into it. So get us started. Let's just go to the beginning, right? Can you tell us about yourself, your background, and how this fitness journey started?
No, thank you so much. Like you've said in the introduction, that the name Tonderayi, yes, it's confirmed. I am the one. Banker by profession, like you said. Um, Fitness enthusiast. How this whole thing came about, I wasn't really into this fitness thing. So what happened was, I was just an ordinary 9 to 5 banker, 8 to 5 worker. So how this whole fitness thing journey came into being was, I just stumbled upon it. Around 2004, I joined a gym when I was working for one of our branches in Kwekwe. So because of there was nothing much to do after work. So most of the time after work, I decided to join a gym. That was in 2004. So initially, it was just for the fun of it. So we just had a few sessions, and then for a year or so, I started to enjoy the going to the gym. But it was only short-lived. I think I did it for about a year and a half. Then I left. I stopped going to the gym. Then from 2006 up to around 2014, I wasn't doing much of any fitness activities. And then I resumed in 2014. That's when I then restarted again. Uh, but I'll tell you later how I then started. But that's basically the long and short of it.
Wow, that's an interesting journey. And it's something that a lot of people do struggle with. And I hope you're going to answer to that, the issue around stopping and starting again. And then was there a
Mm.
particular moment when you then realized, okay, this is something, this shouldn't just be something about me getting fit. I also want to get others involved. At what point did you decide you wanted to bring in other people into this journey?
Yes, yes. So like how it started, when I got into the groove around 2014, uh, I was using public transport then. I didn't have a car by then. So I remember one day I wanted to go. I was going to work in the morning. So there was a commuter omnibus that was parked around 200 meters away from me, and it was about to depart. So I was running, trying to catch that commuter omnibus. So in those 200 meters, that short distance that I ran, I remember my chest, I felt like it was burning, and system shut down and all that thing. So that then triggered me to say, no, I need to come up with a lifestyle change. So that's when I started jogging, trying to start living a healthy lifestyle. And then from there, when people started to see that I was now in the game of fitness, some of my friends started to join me. Started to see now that even weight wise, I remember I started to reduce weight. The results were starting to show. Then people started to getting on board. So that's how I grew it from just being a personal journey to make it more of a community thing before we then started the fitness club together as a group.
Wow. So it's good just seeing how that personal change within you then sort of rippled out, right? And started impacting others, allowing others to also enjoy this and benefit from this journey of fitness. That's really interesting. But when you're looking at the community club, how did that evolve? And how did the idea, did you guys sit down and say, let's do this? How did the idea come about?
So the idea of forming a community club, it was actually a culmination of having a number of people with like-minded goals, because we were now we were now a group, but we didn't have a proper training place, a training ground, or an open space where we could do our exercises. So we then came up with an idea. And then we said we saw one guy who was a football coach who was using a stadium that was nearby. So this coach, he would come in the mornings and do his workouts, his personal workouts before his main sessions. So initially we joined him, but he was not really full time assisting us. He was just doing his workouts on a daily basis. So we'd join him in the morning, and then would just be part of his routines. Then after we got an idea of how this whole thing goes about, because we were now seeing how the drills were structured. Like you do some core drills, some sprints, somewhat. We started to see how this thing was, how we could actually benefit the other rest of the community. That's when we sat down and said, no, guys, why can't we come up with an initiative where we can help other people in the community, just like we've been assisted by this coach? So together with my other friends, we then came up with this concept to say, no, let's just try to help the community members by setting up a club where people are free to join. Initially, we didn't have any registration fees. We just said we just want to do this for the benefit of the community. So surprisingly, people they actually responded, and then from there, the journey has never been the same. It's just been phenomenal.
That's incredible. Yeah, and when you're describing, I'm just also thinking of something around people, right? I mean, I'm just
Mm.
thinking it couldn't have been easy. And getting people to wake up early, show up, and stick with it, right? It takes a lot of work and commitment. But when you're looking at it, what are some of the biggest challenges that you faced when you were starting out?
Yeah, you're very right. It was not easy, especially during the first days, because the major issue that we faced was lack of consistency amongst the people who wanted to join us. Most of them, there's this belief that people they just want results when they start to embark on a fitness journey. So you find most of the people when they joined us, they kind of expected results within a short space of time. So and when they didn't get those results within the time limit that they'd set aside, some of them you would see that there was some kind of frustration creeping in, and some of them they would drop. Then others also had a challenge with their work schedules, because you remember balancing between work schedule, your family, and your working out in the morning. Some of them they couldn't maintain that consistency. So we had that challenge of consistency in the initial phases, with that challenge of balancing of schedules, and also that expectation of results in the initial stages was a bit of a challenge. But later on, how we addressed it, we just created this whole thing to be like a family thing, a group thing, where we were not putting pressure on people. And once we did that, people they kind of eased into the exercises,
Mhm.
and then they started to recruit each other. It was more like a word of mouth. It was more referrals. People were just then referring each other to the club, and that's how we grew it from the initial setup.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and I agree with you. Like when you remove the stigma right around, okay, you're supposed to be doing it consistently, frequently, and then you
Mhm.
sort of ease it out to when you can, because the important thing is you're doing it. So I like that idea that you mentioned on that. And when you're looking at it now, and looking at where you are now, what has been one of your proudest moments or a success story from this fitness group?
Oh, thank you for that. There have been a lot of success stories, but let me try just to pick one that comes to mind. One of the biggest things that make me proud, or one of the success stories that I have, seeing people we had been diagnosed with hypertension diseases, like people who were on medication, giving you testimonies that now I'm no longer taking these tablets. The doctor has certified me that I'm now free of diabetes, free of not diabetes, high blood pressure. So we get a lot of testimonies. Some people who came who could not really walk, they're giving you testimony saying, no, now my limbs can move. So we've got a lot of stories, too many to mention, but we've really impacted a number of lives, and people have really appreciated. I can't really have a specific one, but I
Mm.
remember a lot of couples. We have helped couples to bond through fitness. We have helped people to get off medication. A lot of people. We are basically like a church. We are doing things.
Mhm. Wow, that's amazing. And it's also just a reminder, right, that as a community, there are so many other things that we can sort of commune around. And health and fitness is also one of those areas that I feel as Zimbabweans, and most likely even generally the modern society has sort of not incorporated it fully into our everyday lives, and yet we really need to be health and conscious of our health and fitness as individuals to avoid some of these diseases that you were just mentioning earlier. So if we now shift to the bigger picture, right? When you're looking at the bigger picture, like when you're looking at people in small towns like Norton, they don't really have access. They don't have the access to gyms. They don't have. They can't afford personal trainers and things that help us in that space. What small and practical things can people do to stay active right where they are? And I'm thinking of, it's usually women. We struggle with getting that time in our daily schedules to set aside time
Mm.
for health and fitness. And even men, working men, it's difficult to find that time. What practical advice would you give them of small things that they can incorporate in their daily lives?
Yeah, that's very true. It's a big challenge because we've got very, very limited gyms in small towns, even like Norton. But thank God the culture of fitness is slowly rising up in the town. Currently, we now have about two gyms that are servicing our community, one in the high density sector and the other one in the low density. So the culture is slowly creeping in, slowly building up. But like you said, coming back to your question, it's never easy. It has never been easy to for most people. Both schedules are always tight. But what we encourage people from a fitness point of view, we encourage people to start as simple as possible. People should just try to do things that are very manageable, that are within their scope. Things like you just start by walking, things like basic walking, light jogging, or in the morning, just pay 10 to 15 minutes of just doing maybe squats or lunges, just to, because it's not really about the bigger picture, about doing big exercises or something so significant. The bottom line is just to start. So my advice to people in smaller communities who wish to get on a fitness journey like what we've done is don't overthink. Don't overthink about how you start. The idea is just to start. Just start small. Just be basic. Yes, just home-based workouts. They're actually good. There are a lot of home-based workouts. You can do crunches. You can do so many things that you can do with your limited resources at home using your body weight. There are so many things that you can achieve that can actually give you results that are almost similar to those that you get when you're using equipment from the gym. So yeah, let's just start simple and slow and small. Yeah, to work out.
Yeah, that's so true. And when you're looking at it, also the idea is just really around moving your body. You need to be active. And I think on the point that you were talking around walking, the first step is the most important, like you said, and people need to ask themselves before you get into the car or before you catch the combi, do I really need to get into the car or the combi, or should I walk? Can I walk to
Mm.
this? So it's interesting. My father used to enjoy walking. I used to walk from Govans to Katanga. He enjoyed those walks. And so
Yeah.
I think it's that when you bring it into your everyday life and it becomes your way of life, it makes it so much easier. And from your experience, what are some of the common health issues in your community or that you've sort of come across that could be improved with regular exercise? I know you spoke about high blood pressure earlier, but are there other health conditions that people need to be cognizant of that might actually benefit from these fitness activities?
Yeah, the major one mostly is hypertension. If you look at currently what's happening, there's a trend of these non-communicable diseases like hypertension, type 2 diabetes. Then another major challenge. I don't know whether we can call it a disease or what, but things like obesity, which then leads to problems with the heart. It's another major crisis that is building up. Our people are not eating so well. So we've now discovered that most of our people, their body fat, their body composition is not looking good. So it has also become a more of a pandemic. The way we eat, the way our people are feeding their bodies, is leading to a lot of excess body fat, which is not good for the heart. So these are mostly the key diseases that are bedeviling our communities at the moment, if I may say. Of course, there are one or two things like maybe, yeah, but those other ones are not organic. There are things like someone might have problem with the physio aspect, limbs moving and what movement of the arms and what. But basically, these NCDs, non-communicables, they are the major threat.
Yes, yes, I totally agree. And I think there are studies that have also found that if generally in the Black community, sometimes we tend to struggle with these NCDs because of our
Mm.
eating habits. So it's good that you raise that. And it's also good that we start thinking about it in terms of the food and the nutrition. You sort of touched a bit on that as well. And so when we are looking at like you've been doing this for a while now, and I'm sure that there are days where, you know, sometimes you're motivated, sometimes it's a little difficult to stay motivated and consistent at a personal level. How do you motivate others to keep going, especially when, you know, like you said earlier, results take time? And I know
Mm.
when I've started some of these fitness journeys, I keep looking at myself, I keep weighing myself, and sometimes on the scale, right? I stand on the scale just trying to check where my weight is. And sometimes that demoralizes. But from your perspective, what do you how do you motivate people who are on this on
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, it's that's one of the most challenging issue, one of the most difficult things to maintain when you're on a fitness journey, the whole idea of motivating yourself. Because sometimes you push and the results are not showing. I remember, like currently, I'm in that phase. I'm kind of in that phase where I'm gaining weight, but I wanted to reduce slightly. But because of my work schedule and what, it's a bit of a challenge. So sometimes it affects your work rate. But the whole idea is to keep focused. So how do I manage that? I tell myself I've moved from fitness being just a set of exercises and body workouts. I've made it a lifestyle. I've shifted viewing fitness as a hobby or something. I've now taken it to be part of myself, to be part of my life. So it's easier to motivate yourself when you see fitness as a life and death issue. When you see fitness as part of your being, as part of your system. And how do I motivate others? Sometimes people, they look up to you when you are not even motivated. So in those moments, normally what I do, if we are doing a session and people are looking forward to a motivated coach, they expect me to be motivated all the time. But sometimes when you are down, all you simply do is just emphasize maybe on form over fitness, over length of the workout. Sometimes you can shorten the workout. Sometimes you can just create some kind of vibe just to manage the consistency level. You don't have to really cancel. Unless worst case scenario, you can just tell people to take a day off or what. But ideally, it's self-generating motivation that you have to find from within.
Wow, that's powerful. And you
Mhm.
said we need to focus, make it a lifestyle,
Mhm.
life and death
Mhm.
thing. And I think everyone
Mhm.
that's listening can actually relate to that, whether we are looking at ourselves in the fitness journey, at work, in our everyday life. So consistency is key, and that's the key takeaway I'm taking from what you've been saying. But do you think having a group or a workout partner helps with accountability and encouragement for people who are doing fitness training?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I think that's the best thing you can ever do when you're starting, when you embark on a fitness journey. Try by all means to join a group because there's this motivation that you get from being part of a group. Like what we do currently, we've got a WhatsApp group. We sometimes post a monthly challenge. We can say this month of October, we want you to, if for those who like long distance running, we can set a target to say by end of month, you should have run at least 200 kilometers. So it gives someone a target to work towards. You set personal goals, or sometimes you can say, for ladies, we want a 30-day challenge for squats. First day you do 10 squats, second day you do 15. So you've got this accountability factor. Sometimes when you do your runs, we say, can you post your readings on the group, on the platform, so that we see what you've done for the day. So this keeps members engaged, it keeps people focused, and you give targets. Sometimes you can even, for those who want to lose weight, you can even set dates where you come and weigh them and put them on a scale after a certain period. So there's this whole idea of accountability. So I think, yeah, being in a group, it actually pushes you much better than doing it individually.
Mhm. So community makes a difference. That's what I'm taking, and I think
Definitely.
that's also something that
Definitely.
people need to be aware of. And I like everything in life, right? It's always easier to push through with others alongside you instead of doing it alone. So for someone who is listening right now and they're thinking, but I'm too old, um, I've never exercised before, what would you say to them?
All I can say is it's never too late. There's no one who can say he's too old to start. I started this journey. I didn't start as a youngster. When I was at school, I didn't want to run. I remember I used to run away from marathons. I used to stay away from sports. But I started in my 30s. So I've seen people who started this journey around their 50s or 60s. So there's never a time limit or a time frame to say this is the right time to start. All you just have to do is to, like we said before, is keep moving. Just start simple. Just start. Just keep moving. There's no time limit. There's no age factor. There's nothing. Whenever you get the revelation and when you meet your destiny, when sports locates you, when fitness locates you, just start. Just keep moving.
Mhm. Yeah. So vana mama nana baba hanzi ngatifambei. The first step is the most important. It has nothing to do with age. So that's an encouraging message and something for people to always remember. It's never too late. And when we're looking ahead, Tonderayi, what are your hopes for your fitness club and even just for the health and fitness, promoting health and fitness in Zimbabwe more broadly?
Yeah, my hope or my aspiration, and my prayer is that our people should embrace this culture of healthy lifestyles. We are seeing the foods that are being prepared these days. They are not good foods. They are bad for the heart. Anyway, of late, there's been a trend. People are moving away from these processed foods. They're trying by all means to move away from these white food, white rice, white bread. People are trying to make lifestyle changes, but it's a culture that is slowly building up. And my prayer now, my hope is we want as many people to embrace this culture. We want people as young, from a young age, to be taught how to value their body, how to embrace the culture of fitness, maintaining health and wellness from a young age. If schools could implement, I know they try most of their curriculums, they include PE, they try to implement, but I think it can be done at a higher, at a better level. They can try even harder. Then our people, and my prayer is, as a fitness club, we get more people, that we manage to, and we also transform lives of people. People's lives need to be transformed through fitness. So it is really our prayer that we help as much people as possible who are in need of our of these services. It's just knowledge, just telling people lifestyle changes, workouts to do, no cost involved. So it's our prayer, it's our aspiration as a club, as fitness enthusiasts, that people embrace this culture, as many people as possible by 2030, to be specific.
That's good. And you've said it beautifully, to be honest, and I can't take away anything from this. You've really outlined it very well. Education, also watching what
Mm.
we eat, and also being mindful of our lifestyles, making the lifestyle changes. And I also like the fact that you're actually noticing those changes starting to take effect already. So I like this vision 2030. I think by 2030, we will have made big strides in that area. And I'm glad because I'm just hoping, just from listening to you, it's going to get somebody to also start moving. And so I just want to
Mm.
thank you, Tonderayi, for joining us on Authentic Voices. Your journey is really an inspiring one, and it's an example of what it means to be leading by doing, not just leading, but doing the front and setting an example, a model people to follow. And I'm glad you did this, and I'm glad you shared your story. And I know it's going to uplift others along the way because they are also pursuing their fitness journeys. Thank you so much. And to our listeners, if you have been inspired by this episode, take a small step today, go for a walk, stretch, a squat, like Tonderayi told us about earlier, and invite a friend to join your community is important. And believe me, your body will thank you for that. And if you would like to follow Tonderayi's Fitness Club or learn more about what they are doing as a fitness club in their community and the work that they are doing, we'll include his contact information in the chat below. My name is Noma, and this is Authentic Voices. Your story, your journey, and your voice, they matter. And they all matter. And if you have a story that you want to share with us, feel free to connect and we can bring you on the show. Until next time, bye.
Thank you so much.